Okay, just gonna look at a quick Oping guide as far as like what I would want, or what the thought
My
process
ult's ready.
should be when we are going for a shot or the lines that we should be holding. So, just to like be clear, so we're trying to hold multiple lines or even deeper lines. So we just want to connect multiple lines together, angles even. So. Obviously for an angle like this where my line or where my starting point is compared to my enemies is theirs is much farther away, so I have the advantage, so I can easily just take my time, run up and take the line easy. And you can see here, so between here and here, right, I'm connecting my line as far as like what the graph shows, and then no matter what, wherever the enemy is coming from, right, they will always run into my line, literally no matter what, right? So where I should be aiming, is probably around upper chest to neck level on this farthest line, because that's my main point of view that I'm trying to hold here. And then obviously it's different when I'm crouching and standing up. But if anyone comes close to me, right, then I just take my shot here, and then like you know, I have a high percentage chance of hitting them. The other thing as well is I need to make sure that I am not exposed to my back here. Also, if my teammate is holding it, etc., then you know, they can hold my back while I'm focused forward, right? So the main point is to control long forms of space, while also keeping my back cover, as you can see here, right? For them to actually contest me, they have to be pretty deep out into B main, and then, you know, if I decide to change my line, etc., then you know, I can always turn back and then go that way. So that's number one. So number two is how I'm going to determine what shot I'm going to take, especially at the beginning of the round. If I want to be aggro, if I want to be not as aggressive, you know, how can I prep myself up for that shot? So for example, if my goal is to peek elbow here and ignore a window, I have to understand what they've been doing in B main, right? Are they fast peeking window? Are they using some form of utility, whether it be a scan, flash, etc.? And at that point, I can prep myself for the shot, whether it be to pop my dash, right, or my smoke. So if I feel like they're gonna flash early, right, I can prep my shot with my smoke, take my shot, and then dash out, right? So in quick succession from the barrier. Quick. So the barrier, it would be something like this, right? So pop, and then take a shot and go. And you can see here, I'm visually covering myself from window with the smoke, right? And then also it gives me that kind of like a mini wall to take that shot here. My timing of this is really when I feel like my smoke is fading, I should give the line, right? So it's really just a quick peek, dash out, and then even my exit strategy here, right? So if I smoke, my exit strategy, I'm dashing probably away from best case scenario, like on this corner here, so I'm not exposed to anything, right? And then I can safely get away, right? I can safely reset my line. The other thing as well, okay, so if I'm holding multiple angles or holding multiple lines, I should have a plan A and a plan B. For example, if my job right now, or if my goal here is to hold window into main, that's fine. However, if they util dump me, etc., right, I would move my line into a place where I'm not necessarily giving the choke away, but I am using it a different angle to watch the space. It's just a little less control that I'll have. So for example, you know, if I'm taking a shot here, right, and I have to give it, then I would probably narrow my line to something like this, where they have to full commit into me, and and then I can take the shot there. So I'm not necessarily giving up what I'm watching. I'm just moving it to a different shot, so that A, the enemy team doesn't pre-fire me, and B, you know, they're all gonna be dumping and looking this way. So when you go on an off angle, right, most of the time you'll catch them off guard and go for another kick. Okay. Same thing with, like, for example, like here, an angle like this, right? So if I take this shot here, right, then I would just move it back, right, so that I have my plan B, my escape route here, but I'm still watching this line. It's kind of a narrow line, but still, it still does the same thing, right? And then I can take a shot here if I need a reset, right? I have my smokes, which I can reset for, and then I would reset even farther back at that point, right? So my plan C would even be farther back if I need to, so I could watch this line here, or the jump up, right? Or I could even reset it towards half wall here. So you have multiple options. Same thing here. Like if I feel like this shot is too threatening for me, then I would just move my line back, right? Same deal. I combine the two lines, so pillar plus my half wall. So anyone comes on the left side here, I can just take that shot here. Understanding that I do have timing to these things, so if it takes quite a bit and I don't see anyone, then I need to come back and recommit to my line on my right? Because that's mostly likely where they're flooding from. So that's how the fight I would take. As far as like taking space with Oping. So for example, I want to hold, push towards elbow after, you know, my line. No one's coming on my mid line, right? So I would start moving my way. Basically, probably don't want to be zoomed in when you're going straight forward, right? Probably around here. So anywhere you can hook, probably the best example. So if I'm trying to hook, I would pie the angle. Pie meaning I would chunk it out. So like the angle being this angle here, and I'm trying to work my way into here, like kind of like a hook, right? So I would, you know, the best way to time these is like, your feeling of movement would be if you try to move as much as you can where you know you won't make that walking noise. So you know, you can see here, right? I'm chunking the line out. So you can see here, right? If I'm expecting the enemy here, or my next point would be kind of like here, right? And then I'll keep chunking it more and more. You know, you're really always prepping for the guy that's gonna swing, so that's where you kind of be moving your crosshair, chunking out that line, right? If I find a line that I'm comfortable with and I want to hold, I can keep it here. If I want to go further, right, keep chunking, right, until I have the line that I want, and I secure that line. So for example, the best line probably here would probably be like somewhere around maybe like here, where I combine these two. If you want to go further, right, what I want to prevent is I have to flick. This is what I want to prevent, like stuff like this, because it's, you know, if in case like anything happens and I, you know, it's inaccurate for any reason, then you put yourself at a disadvantage. However, right, if I can keep it on one line, then I don't have to do much, right? They walk into my shit and I can just do minimal adjustments rather than full on distance flicking, right? So that's pieing and chunking angles. The only exception to like when I would like want to move forward, so if I need to always be prepped for the shot here, right? You know, I would hold the right side. If like my goal is to hold the right side, then I would shift my way so that I'm constantly holding this right side here, right? And then, you know, same thing. I'm still chunking my line. This one, you kind of are forced to flick if you need to, right? But I would just assess where my enemy is, if they're making any movements and or they're threatening me in any way. Obviously, if they start making toward A main, it can probably unscope at that point, and I would just start, you know, holding choke points where they would be coming from. Okay, so, you know, being scope ready, being prepped for the attack, right? I really just have to think about what the enemy is going to do before, you know, I make my move, right? don't have to think too hard about it. I know it comes natural to a lot of duelists because that game sense is there, but if you need that extra help, then you can use that tool. As far as like A main or any time
30 seconds left. Keep it up.
I am going to take an aggro peek, especially into a main, and try to catch the enemy off guard, right? There's a couple of ways that we can do this, right? So from barrier here, probably my best option, or something I would do personally,
this is gonna be fun,
is understanding the angle. So if I'm trying to peek wide, I would immediately be ready, right? As soon as I know where the gap is, as far as like where my pre-fire would be, I'd pop my escape button if need be, you know, see what I can see, take a shot, and then come back out, right? Or obviously the plan B angle is kind of like the same thing I was saying earlier, right? If you don't want to take that deep of a line, but I want to catch someone off guard, especially walking into A main, I could probably take this line here. The same thing as before, right? My timing is, if they're making a ton of noise in mid, then I either need to speed it up or I can move it back towards sight as well. Okay, so you know, understanding the power of what how fast you can get there before the enemy, you know, if you're trying to take that quick peek and then come back, or if you want to like start pieing it out, right? If I full clear this left side, and you can see from the map here, right, if I don't see anyone cross this way, then my threat is always going to be on here and here, right? So I would start chunking my way to a place where I can manage both threats without being exposed in the middle. So probably more or less, probably like maybe around here, or if I want to be even safer about it, I would be like around here, because no matter what, if they come from this side here, right, I will see them. Okay, so you know, holding deep control but also being safe about it is pretty good. So that's something that you should have in mind or pay attention to when you take these fights here. Same thing with like mid doors, right? If I'm trying to take a quick peek, I'd probably do something like this. If you're very fast about it, since I know you're young, you could probably pre-aim where people are. So you would just place your crosshair where people are, and then immediately dash out, take that quick shot. For me, since I'm older, the zoomer, I'd probably scope a little bit ahead time, but that's just a personal preference for me. Obviously, if you want to be fast about it, work on how quick you want to be, you can always, you know, do something like that, right? Okay. So the other one, combating oppers, or combating like people that I will know take aggressive peeks, especially towards like mid doors, or even like bind showers would be another example. There's a couple ways that you can combat this guy, right? He's always gonna hold the walkout when you are coming into mid here. So a lot of people take the jump peek. So where I want to aim with my jump is I want to jump before the line. Okay, so if my aim is double doors, let's be specific, I guess like this corner right here. Normally I would jump in a way where I land and I'm landing and aiming directly on the angle, right? You know, so I would jump a little before it, shot, and then dash out. So in sequence, like full sequence, it would be something like that. I'm not very fast at it, but right. So it would be something like that. Very quick. You basically, how fast you can execute it would be you shoot it right as you land, and it should be 100% accurate. Depends on your reaction time, obviously. So as soon as you see the white dot, then you would take the shot there, and then dash out if need be. If you want to control the line, so this is why I tell you to do the smoke, is to disrupt the enemy's line, so I can have control, right? I can take my time, have control, and then take the shot that way. That's two ways you can do it. Obviously, you know, a lot of people will also go wide on it, which is another thing, or you know, some people will try to angle peek it. How to determine when you'll win the angle is going to be based on how the character model looks. So all character models are right-handed naturally. That's how they're designed. So if you imagine yourself holding a gun on your right hand, right, you'll see the left side first because you'll see their shoulder before they see your gun. So I would have to do something aggressive if I'm peeking on my left side here, right? And on my right side, I can probably be a little more cautious about it because I will see their arm first before they see me. You might have to check it first. It might be the opposite, but the theory is the same. Okay, so as far as the character models, depending on which side, you will see their shoulder first, so you can take that angle a little differently. Or if you feel like you're on the weak side of the model, then you can you know, take it more aggressively, right? So you know, be like a jump peek, or you know, some form of disruption on the angle here. Okay, so I think that's all I got for op angles. Obviously there's off angles as well that you can look for, you know, but typically even off angles you should have some form of escape. I know with jets, like if you want to play somewhere like near here, right, for me, I need to know where my escape is. So if I don't feel comfortable dashing backwards here, right, then I can smoke myself, so at least I can have a little bit of time to think. If I'm here, right, I can either buy time to play this close line here, or I can have think about my escape route. So here, smoke, and then I have to dash back here, so my smoke is still covering my back. Or you know, if I want to swap the angle, go against the grain, which is also an option that you can do. Someone's close, shot. Alright, someone's close, I take the shot. I can go across while my teammate on the backside side here will cover my back out, right? So that way I reset my line. So I cut the line this way, so they have to run in my line regardless. But I also should be thinking about what's going on in middle, and then moving back to a place where I can optimize my long-range weapon. So for example, probably farther back here, right? So I can move back into railing if need, or you know, at least using this for somewhat of cover, and then I can go back into main. Right, go back into main on what I am doing. Okay, so hope this guy helps you, or whoever uses it. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.